Hey y'all, give us a second because I'm a bit of a struggle bus this morning because I
I just
thought.
got out of the shower. So hopefully you're just also getting your morning along for you on the East Coast. Well, you
Yes,
know what? Good for you.
right? It's Sunday. I thought I could be not an adult and go out last night, and stay out longer than I anticipated. And anyway, okay, hold on. This needs to be lower. Um, I'm capable. I'm capable. What's it look like? Okay. It's cut off. That's what it looks like. There we go. I can do this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. We're getting there. We are getting there. I think.
I feel like that's good. We don't want it to be like too much of feet.
Right? Can you see it?
I'm like seeing delayed and now it keeps getting lower.
You see? Oh, okay, okay.
It's fine.
Okay. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, that's fantastic. I'm gonna move the chair over. I'm gonna come sit down and adjust this mic, because
Good morning.
yeah,
Good afternoon.
yeah, Mama, take it away. I need a second.
Welcome to another episode with your Buttons Babes. I'm Alyssa Vasquez.
I'm Alyssa Brayboy.
Today we are live from sunny Los Angeles. I imagine the weather's a little cooler where most of you are. Shout out to anyone who's joining us from Florida. We're all sorry.
We're rooting for you, praying for you. Hope you can swim. I hope that wasn't insensitive. It might have been. My bad. It's
Damn.
too early.
Mother Nature is wild.
She is. Okay. I should have prepared this better. I didn't.
So we're here a little early.
Yep.
Thank you again for joining us. The first bit of our segment is going to be the push to start, something that pushed our buttons this week. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. So I'm gonna start.
Because clearly struggle bus. Anyway.
So I have like a mix of push to start, but happy Hispanic Heritage Month to everyone. I hope you're all learning and enjoying and Hispanicking, whatever. I'm gonna make rice, and by the end of this month, it's my goal to make rice and some other cool shit. So I'll put up pictures. We'll do a review. I won't put up pictures, but we'll do a review. So that's been fun. I started shopping, like fall shopping yesterday because I was just like, it's time. I've needed a coat for forever. I bought a green coat. I'm still looking for camel, but I bought a green, like a long coat. And
when, where, what?
I got it on Boohoo. I've never shopped there before. A friend recommended it to me, and I bought a lot of shit, so I hope it's good.
I have not seen. Okay, wait, is it here yet?
No, I bought it last night, so
got it
next week. So I bought a bunch of the great, I hope, fall wardrobe things.
You did all of it online? See,
so we're about to find out. I did not do that buy two size kind of bullshit,
right?
Because I measured and I stuck to my sizes, but I've never purchased clothing from here before, and it fits like I think a certain taller body type.
Okay.
And so I'm like, well, we'll see like how much I may or may not have to adjust.
Online shopping stresses me out. I get trigger shy about it. Like I'll put all of the things in my cart. I'm really excited, and then I'm like, no, because I want to be able to try it on. I want to I don't like
sizing. I mean, yeah, at Target I can wear 0 and also like a kid's like large sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, but then a medium, and I'm like, I know that store. I don't shop there anymore for clothes because of that reason. But like Zara, sometimes online, I'm like, oh, I'm not that. It doesn't look good on me.
It's wild. Or even what does the material feel like? Like how, just the little things, it stresses me out. But even now, we went to the mall last week. Even in-store shopping stresses me out and gives me anxiety. I'm like, all right, I have no patience.
I mean,
I'm
getting
old.
We haven't mauled in a while. We have not mauled in a while because, I mean, that used to be our shit. Like, at least that was my shit for a minute growing up.
Same.
We used to go to the mall.
and you try on a bunch of shit, you find what you like, you make a day out of it. And it's
literally
fucking
a day.
fun.
Yeah.
Like, and it is not fun for me anymore.
But like, no, I mean, we haven't mauled in years like that, like fun mall time, so it is kind of scary.
Just all of the people and
overwhelmed.
the things. Yes, and taking clothes on and off and on and off. Now I'm starting to understand people who have stylists or like clothes. Never mind. Anyway,
like personal shopping.
Yes,
Like,
that's the word.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
I mean, if you can afford it, absolutely.
It is a goal of mine because it's also.
It is a goal of mine.
I'm dead ass. It's really fucking time consuming, y'all. Like, that's what drives me crazy is the on and off of the clothing and the time that it takes. And then, God forbid, you don't find anything. It's very disappointing and disheartening.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the trick for me is always like, don't go into it with too many expectations. Or like, if I'm looking for something specific, make sure I know that it's in season or like it's going to be available. That I have options to not like. But you can't always control that. But like for the most part, I'm like, okay, if you go with no expectations, you will always end up with something good.
That's that. You know what? Okay. Yes to that. Mama, did you have any other push to start?
That's shopping and Hispanic Heritage Month for me.
Yes.
You know what? that is my station. There's
that's
too many
what
things.
It was. So I'm switching my button of the Jesus, y'all.
Push to start.
That thing, cause struggling just a little bit. Getting it together. Anywho, my push to start, I'm switching it up because something happened this week that I can't even say that I wasn't expecting, but is big news. I booked my first network credit, co-star, on a show that is in its 5th season. I was gonna share what the show was. Some of you have already know what the show is based off of the short that we put up, but I just realized that I might have not should have done that. I'm learning. It's my first one, and so there are certain things that I'm realizing that they don't fucking tell you, and it's like getting into a secret society. Like I'm in terms of like breaking into television, not just on an acting standpoint, but even because the week before I went to an event for Queen Sugar and Array, which is Ava DuVernay's company, and they were celebrating all of their whole series. They all of the directors were female, and it's the first time anything that's been done. Right? It was so fucking inspiring. It was incredible to see the path that Ava has laid out, and the people that she's pulling up with her. And Oprah was there, y'all. It was fucking wild. And so, but breaking into television, it's like a catch-22 because you have to have a network credit to get or you have to have done television to get into television.
I mean, it sounds like it's like a lot of like corporate jobs. Like you have to have experience to get a job, but when you're new in the market, you're like, how am I supposed to? Where was I supposed to get this?
Like it's to break that cycle. Like it's taken me 5 years. But super stoked, super grateful. It was an amazing experience. I was on set today's Sunday. I was on set on Friday. Cast and crew.
Not too many details.
Yeah. I'm like reining it in because yes, not too many details. Sorry, y'all. Once it airs, we can talk about it again. We'll go there. But it was fucking incredible. So proud of myself, so excited, so grateful, all of those things. I've been floating on cloud 9. And like
rightly so.
Like it, and sometimes like there is this feeling like I still am like, did that really happen? Yes, it did. And it is the beginning of a new chapter, and just it was like breathing. And it was interesting, and I'm gonna use this to segue into our button of the week, because I did have a moment, like the cast is diverse, like I mean there were others on set, but there was a particular moment where I looked up and everyone was beige and a male. And and I know we're still working towards um inclusivity and expanding diversity, especially like technical aspects of film and television, so like behind the scenes. I know we're also pushing for it in front of the camera. But there was just this moment I was like, damn. Like, I mean, and everyone was fucking fantastic, nice, like, it's super efficient. The crew was great, but there was a moment I was like, okay, all right. And realizing that even behind the scenes as well, representation matters. So this our button of the week is representation matters, part 423, because clearly,
Do not search for them in order.
right, like clearly we still need to have this conversation, and that is really disheartening for me, but at the same time, like being okay with knowing that change is a slow turning wheel. Cause my original push to start, y'all, and maybe we a little late to the game, but whatever. It's for some reason still the topic of conversations with some people that I talk to. I saw the snippet of the trailer for The Little Mermaid the first time, like when it came out, and there was a moment when Haley Bailey is singing "Part of Your World." What did I just say?
Haley Bailey.
Did I say yo?
Halle Bailey.
Girl,
It's okay.
I'm
It's okay.
sorry.
I have for sure said
It's wait. Is it Hallie?
Hallie. I'm pretty
I
sure
thought it was
it's
Haley.
Question
Hallie?
mark H.
Well, Miss Bailey. Our new Little Mermaid, our new Ariel. I saw her sing "A Part of Your World," and I did not anticipate it taking me the fuck out. I started crying. Like, I was like, oh my god, yes, yes, we do want to be a part of your world. Like, please let us in. And it hit me on that level in terms of being fucking, like, at first I thought I was gonna think of like little black and brown girls. But even as a grown ass black woman, I was like,
They're like me, Jessica. Yes,
it's me.
that's so understandable though. Like,
But I didn't think that I would have that response.
because you're not dwelling on that type of thought every day. Maybe I mean that's like when that type of thing happens to me. I'm like, oh yeah, like this is a lot deeper than
Then I realized, because you're so used to what we're used to in terms of beige stories and beige people.
porcelain television.
Right? And it was emotionally overwhelming in the best way. And it was like, yes, fuck yes. And didn't like anything other than like pride and satisfaction. I was like, la 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 la, I don't want to hear it. Fuck off. Like, what? Why are we mad? Or not we? Why are people?
Yeah.
What? You tripping? It's giving racist. But like
It's given the foundation of this country.
and so that wasn't my original push to start. Because it was, and then started thinking about
We had like more conversations about
Yes.
it, and I think like it just continued to bubble up.
and the like as excited as I am about The Little Mermaid, like I'm so stoked. I personally though, I don't really fuck with like the Disney remakes, like the live action.
Yeah, we have had this side discussion many times of like how unnecessary most of them are.
Like,
Para
us.
para nosotros.
like I'm super proud and excited. I will support, I'm gonna see it, all of the things.
Obviously, we're gonna see it a lot.
Yes. However, I do wish we weren't repeating and remaking a story. I know it's going to be different. I understand the decision by Disney in terms of it already having an audience and like knowing that it is going to be successful, and also how historical and pivotal it is. I think that's great. But I also feel like, can we have some other storylines, please? Can we do something original? Okay, great. We see ourselves on the screen, and it's very empowering, and that is great. But there's a certain level of like wanting
More.
yes, most definitely wanting more and wanting to hear our voice, not just see our faces, because that's not, I'm not saying it's not one of our stories or something that like other black and brown individuals can't resonate and relate to, but I'm like, can we push? Yes, can we get something new? But like anyway, like that's my little 2 cents.
I'm with you, because it's like, yes, obviously, like in the like greater culture, the like normcore, whatever the fuck, at like the biggest, most commercial level, we do want to see more representation.
Different
there,
story, yeah.
like in these huge pivotal roles that like, yes, everyone knows, like for whatever, like we do want to see that, but also yes, we want to see fresh and new things, because it's like, I mean, there's still like a ceiling there. There's still like, oh,
Yes.
this is it. I mean, this is it. And I agree, like not trying to downplay that, but like also, yes, like I mean, I loved Splash as a kid. That was a weird fucking movie, and I need to rewatch it because I remember things very differently. I'm sometimes as a kid than an
What's
adult.
that?
It's just a mermaid movie, but like a live action mermaid movie. Couldn't tell you the story exactly.
I think was it Tyra Banks? No.
I think her name was Daryl Hannah.
Bitch, yes, I know exactly what movie you're talking about.
Right.
Okay,
but
yes.
like, do you remember the storyline? Exactly. There's like a handful of other mermaid movies that I remember watching as a kid that were all very different, but like, yeah, I was like, I mean, I grew up going swimming all the time. We lived in an apartment complex. Like, I was Ariel. I was a mermaid girl. You know, like I have
seen Sirens.
I have not seen Sirens.
Yo.
I'm learning also. There's a fuck ton more mermaid movies.
Yes.
So I'm like, yeah, like I want to do this, but that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, I could see so many mermaid movies, and like, I mean, they weren't me, but like, I looked like them. And like, so yeah, I was like, obviously I'm a mermaid, like, you know?
Duh.
But like, that opportunity needs to be available for every other skin toned child.
Yes.
But like, also, I guess not just skin tone, but like, personification, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, we need that. We need to have a range of mermaid stories, like vampire stories. I think, you know.
Yes, like we don't just
in the fantasy realm. I feel like we're like bopping around, but like this was another point I think that you had on the agenda.
Yes, it's like not just the representation in terms of like what we are able to do is also really important. We recently watched that documentary, This Changes Things, and that had to do a lot more with female directors and women in the behind the camera and in the film and television industry, and how jarring the numbers were, and like the different studies that happened in order to showcase that when individuals see something in terms of like what is possible, then they can believe it for themselves. There was a study that explained after was it CSI forensic or something like that, seeing a female forensic investigator person, sorry y'all, my vocabulary, but after that show and having a female as a lead and with that kind of job, like a few years later,
that actual job,
yes,
like, or
people studying increased by like 20%. And it's like, don't tell us that that it doesn't affect anything, because it does. Like shows like Doc McStuffins. Yes, she's the little black doctor.
I mean, Dora the Explorer.
Hello?
Who the fuck was? I mean, don't love her, but like.
But she matters,
right? You know, like Manny.
Oh my gosh, yes. And oh my goodness. Okay, and I was about
Gullah
to start.
Gullah Island was one of my favorite shows, and that producer she created a bunch of other like crucial children's TV shows
I did not know
that
that.
were super diverse and like really musically like enhanced children's programming.
And it's
Like
like,
that's huge.
it is, and it matters. And in this day and age, part of me sometimes I'm like, how are we still here? And I'm like, okay, well, be grateful, but at the same time, like, there's nuance to the feelings that like roll around in my body because I'm like, yo, it's 2022, damn near 2023, and we're still having. I mean, and I'm realizing we always will because there will be those people who do not want that, who are like, no, Ariel's white with red hair, and I'm like, okay,
She's not real, but fine.
hello, right? Like, she's a fictional character. She's
I've
an
definitely
animation.
seen her with blonde hair somewhere and like brown hair.
I'm like, wow, we really torn up. This is what we have to talk about. This is what you guys are mad about. Like, and
Oh,
when
being mad at the flute.
like what was it? Spider-Man. So into the y'all, if you have not seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse,
See it. Go watch it. You have to.
10,
You have to.
10 recommend, cry my little eyes out. Like, it was, I'm gonna cry about everything. Anyway, but fucking fantastic. And I don't think, like, I'm not a comic, like, DC Marvel person. That is not, like, my world.
Yeah, I mean fantasy. That's my world. But yeah, comic stuff is also not my most favorite.
But it was done so well, and the underlying story in
it
terms
was
of
so great.
everyone can be a hero. Like, we're all heroes. Like, it just it just made my heart so happy because now also kids who are into comics and love Spider-Man, like, all they've ever seen is a white straight Spider-Man. Like, that's it. And I actually read a few articles where that was like oh, I can't remember if it was Sony, because Sony has the. Anyway, someone correct us in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Sony, but they were adamant in saying that Spider-Man has always and will always be a straight white guy. But now, like, but with the emergence of Into the Spider-Verse and creating that kind of origin story and showing him, like, oh yeah, really? No, actually,
Spoiler alert.
here we go. Like, it's possible. And now, like, creating that backstory, it's like they found a way to nip it in the butt early for when a live action, like, for when if they do a live action, another live action Spider-Man, and they happen to be a person of color, it's like, no, we did this already. Like, it's like, chill, calm down. We should not be, it shouldn't be an issue. It's like laying the foundation or the groundwork early. And it kind of also feels like a little bit of like civil disobedience, like, or like being proactive to certain things and laying the foundation of how we are changing the landscape and making it more diverse and inclusive, like laying the stones. Which brings me to
Next point.
okay, I was like, which brings me to The Woman King. Y'all, I'm super torn about this movie. Alyssa and I went to go see it. It was fucking great. It was good.
It was a
Like,
great movie. Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, but also completely understand the dilemma between being like proud and also feeling a little bit of like damn, I had the word and I lost it. It's not shame, like
Concern.
yeah, concern. Yes, in terms of like the historical romanticism that happened and how damaging it is for African Americans, and so it's like like I get it in terms of like it being one of the first of its kind in terms of a movie surrounded by black female warriors, and like I thought it was fucking badass, but at the same time,
Spoiler alert, maybe.
Maybe, but at the same time, it's damaging in terms of the picture that it is painting on history, and I know we've do it in terms of, you know, um, altering history, but it's like I was hoping we were better than that, but like as an artist too, I get wanting to like change it and make it better, but like because there's so many historical things, this story could have been told differently that didn't have to do with tribes that exist. But that I feel like that's a whole other like button and tangent in terms of the Woman King.
I definitely think it can be, but I mean, I will not ever see it from the same lens as you for obvious reasons. But I think, I mean, I can't think of examples of like beige cinema that I mean, but it like it's constant.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's why it's like I'm like I don't ever feel, I guess, and maybe this is what's wrong with like this is part of the larger conversation of like maybe not being historically accurate for the purpose of the story or for the purpose of art, like because it's an interpretation, right? So and maybe that's like the greater societal issue is like not being more concerned with things that are historically inaccurate or like kind of like taking liberties, I guess, with history. But I understand that when there is very, very few this is for us kind of things, that like it is of the most important
to be
accurate first, to then allow room for the like, okay, but it could have been here. It could have like I think that that's how I like am like seeing it and understanding, because to me like my first like thing is like, yeah, like there has to be room for like everything for everyone. It can't be just like this is only the truth. But I do think it is important to have the truth first and then deviate from there, or like play from there to know like, okay, but above all else, this like
this is what happened.
But
because I something, and call me whatever, I'm gonna get to the point. I don't know what the word is, but there are going to be people, and I have been this person before, who is not gonna do their research, who's gonna take it at face value and be like, oh no, but the Woman King, that movie, like this is how it was. Or even people that are not like in my same skin tone, who that are like, but like who are of beige, they are going to take that movie and be like, see, like, well, you guys were like giving them excuses and
but like
fighting points
will always be like, that's the thing, like,
yes,
I mean, and that's where like bringing it up in a conversation and using that as a reference, it's like, okay, my guy, Willy Wonka didn't,
hello, it's a movie,
you know what I mean? So like at that point,
true.
Leg to me is like, no, I mean, like,
we're not doing that.
Am I also that person sometimes for some things that I like have to be like, oh, let me actually see if I like, if
right,
it happened, like, fine, great for me to learn, but like to have that be like a fear of like a credit for someone, it's like, bro, some people are gonna reference things that definitely don't exist. They do, they literally do, and like that's like, you just look fucking dumb for that. Like, you look fucking dumb.
Right.
It's, it's like, that's also, I mean, that circles us back into the fucking Little Mermaid of people being like, well, in the other movie she was white. Yeah, it's like,
fair point.
First of all, my guy, like, that's an animated movie. Second of all, this is a fucking story. Third of all, Hans Christian Andersen's story was fucking horrific.
Right?
So
like the real
we have
actual.
completely turned this shit around. But like, yes,
True.
go off that her skin is darker. Like, okay, like the melanated mermaid. Like, let's be clear here. What are we upset about? But
Everyone
so
wants
it's
to be
like
upset
that
about
kind
something.
of circle. But and then it goes back to like, yeah, there's always going to be someone who's like
Who's going to poke at it?
ignorant and unhappy with accepting the truth or looking into it themselves, and it's like what.
And the thing, like, what I'm holding on to, because I loved the movie. I love Viola Davis. I get it in terms
It
of.
was so inspiring.
Yes,
like it was a really good movie to go into, to like allow yourself to feel all of your like anger and emotions towards a specific gender. And then watch it and like just be fucking empowered by watching these women, and you're just like, you know what, fuck yeah, okay, like.
And for me, like, even on a like production, like,
Yeah.
like she also was attached. I don't know if she's an executive producer. I know her production company, like it was a co-production with Juvie Productions, and so like it's game changing for her and her career.
That she did on this film.
Yes, and so I get like her decision and having to give and take in spaces. It's unfortunate in some spaces, but you get to a point where it's like there needs to be a first. Things have to get done. We might not do it right every fucking time. Can we afford ourselves some grace in order to move the needle forward, like to push it further? And so like I understand where everyone is coming from, but at the same time it's like, yo, we're doing I was gonna say the best we can, but I really do believe that. I do believe that we are doing the best that we can with what we have, because that's all we can fucking do to get, the gatekeepers to open the door some more, to allow for black and brown stories, to put money into them, because and so it's just a little disheartening in spaces, but at the same time I'm like, yo, like I'm fucking here for it. And it just also makes me a little bit more conscious of the stories that we're creating. And
I mean, that's
my
question to you is going to be, okay, so for everything that we want to create, are we going to have to make sure there's a foundation first before we deviate? Like, I'm not trying to go off of my path for certain things if there's not a foundational story there to like cover the deviation that I'm gonna embark on. That's where, like, I mean, for anyone who's creating, who is like feeling this way, are you preparing your statement for future when someone's like, you didn't?
I am hoping that I have the wherewithal to make sure that when we create, we aren't harming anyone, like
I mean,
or doing any type of damage.
For sure, I think we will do our best, but I think there will always be something that is, like,
there's gonna be something that people are gonna like want to push back on. It's like, because what we do is uncomfortable stories.
So that's what I'm like.
And if it's anything that is historic in nature, I want us to stick to like the truth as much as possible. But I feel like there are three perspectives, and like the truth isn't always the fucking truth. There's the way person A saw it, person C saw it, and what the fuck actually happened. And so like it depends on like what side of it we're on, and just doing our due diligence. And I think like as long as we are doing our best to get it as close to the truth, then that's all we can fucking do.
I bet Viola did her fucking best.
Right? I do think she did her best.
I think people need to give a lot more grace, and for sure, like in the Hispanic community, like we should honor each other the most, and I think that's something similar in the Black community as well. Is like we are the worst to our own kind, and this is where like we need to give our people slack. We need to give slack to people who look like us, who are us,
and are trying to
and
make
are
things
trying
different.
because like they're also like no one is handing them a book that's like
This is how you do it.
you do it, you know, like this was the path was paved for me, so I'll let it like, you know
we
what
all
I mean?
out here
Like,
just we trying like
and that's, I mean, like, yes, it's important for sure to like do your due diligence and like to do your best for things, but I think, and again, this is me speaking from my own perspective, not being Black and not, you know, having that life experience, but like for brown, I can kind of speak there, like we have to stop shitting at our own people, like anyone who's creating and has like made it there, we have to give them room to make shitty things, to make mediocre
Yes.
things, to make things that are like, yeah, well,
That
I'm
was
not
okay.
I'm not gonna like tattoo this on my fucking chest, but like, yeah, okay, like watch the support, like just to do that, because the representation does matter, and as much as we don't love all of it, like that's still our bubble to hold on to until we can fucking pop the bubble and take over. I don't know.
Because it paves the
World domination.
No, Mama, I wholeheartedly agree, because it paves the way for greatness. Like we're not gonna get it. Like we're not gonna hit the mark every fucking time.
People gotta have
Like,
their first pancake, their
hello?
first fucking batch of pancakes. I don't know. It's hard cooking sometimes.
Yo, we out here like yes, I am learning. I've had to give myself that same grace with what we're creating and realizing like, hey, it's gonna take time, like to find the groove of things, and also like, but there is this societal pressure for anything that is Black or brown. It has to fucking be fantastic. It has to be great. We don't get to be mediocre. We don't get to do basic shit. Like it's not a thing. It should be, but at the same time, I think we do it to ourselves because we don't want anything to be basic or mediocre, because the stakes are so
have to
high.
Fight all the time
Exactly.
to be better. So that's where it's like, I mean, yeah, this is
It's another button. You're right.
Buttons,
You're right.
But like that is the most basic line of like, you've had to fight so much harder to do everything that's all. It's not all you know, like to put it in that, like that's all you know, but like that's what you fucking know how to do, and that's like, you have to have room to go down a little bit more into like just existing.
Yes.
To be able to then like have those waves. I mean,
80-20 is one of the hardest things that I have ever fucking learned, and that I'm still like navigating and getting over, because it hurts. It literally hurts me to put anything out into this world, into this ether, that isn't fucking great.
I know.
Like I can't. But then I realize, I'm like, but no, you have to put something out there. You have to start, and you're not gonna start it perfect. And so like it's a fucking lesson.
I mean, because failing in its at the most basic level, just being a person is hard. But like, yes, being someone who is Black, like people are already like
watching and hoping.
To some people, your immediate failure is being Black, and that is unfortunate. But like that's already that's already against you, and you're like, I am literally just fucking here in the room. Like, how can I already be fucking like? I can't imagine that. But like, we gotta change that. We have to fucking change that.
Yo, that hit.
I didn't mean it to hit that way, but
no,
like,
but it's true, and it's like, fuck.
We're still here somehow, and it shouldn't be that fucking way. Like, you already said it today, but like, it shouldn't be.
Right, and it like, and knowing like that is a part of what I was experiencing on set when I looked up and I was like, yo, everyone is male and everyone is beige, and they are smiling at me and they're framing up my shot, and it's like and when I like the pressure, and I know that I was projecting this. This was my reality. I'm writing this narrative in terms of like, there was just this look of like, all right, don't fuck this up, but that's not what they said, but there was just like, but also just being the other in that moment. All eyes are on you, and yes, and it's like,
one of these things is not like
right.
like it's yeah.
I was like, cool. I'm just supposed to cry on cue. Like, I gotta, whoo. Like,
Everything has to be perfect.
right, in this moment, this is my shot and we gotta take it. And I don't know other people relate to that. It hit in a certain type of way where I was very overwhelmed, and it worked for the scene because I had to be emotional.
Understandably, I mean that's because you look up and you look for just one pair of eyeballs
Yes.
that you look at and you can see that they're like,
hey,
okay,
I got you. You got this.
you know, holding that space for you to just be like, okay, I'm doing okay, like I'm doing right, like I'm doing, and I mean,
and that I've never thought of it like that, but as I've gotten older and started experiencing like what it means to be Black in America, like I didn't ever think that I looked for that. And it's interesting because yesterday I was at I went to 2 separate carnivals. I went to, and then
this bitch be carnivaling.
but it was carnival weekend. I don't know what the fuck was happening. There were 3 fucking carnivals
Fall.
within a block of each other downtown. Anyway, we were at I was at Soho House and they were having a carnival. they were having a carnival, and so then but we went back to like the Soho warehouse, which was like it was right down like this walkway. It was lit, but there was so many Black and brown people. It made me so fucking happy because like it's fucking Soho House,
right?
You know, like, and at one point, one of the individuals that I was with, they were looking around like, "Yo, Soho Warehouse is the Black like the Black like Soho," and I was like, "Yo," like it was so nice. I ran into I don't think you've ever met Marquetta, but I ran into someone that I worked out with before. She is a leader in the music industry, like, and it was just so inspiring to look around and see people that looked like me, like in that kind of space, fucking thriving, having a good time. There was so much joy and happiness, like, and it was so refreshing, like even just on like a basic human level of like, shit, y'all doing your damn thing, like, and it made me feel like it was possible for me to be able to do the damn thing and get a fucking Soho membership and to have fun on the weekend.
Yeah, you can just like come here and like fit in,
right?
And you don't have to worry about like, okay, kind of slowly making your way in to like have space for yourself and like make room because it is not likely that someone is going to move over and make room for you.
Right?
Like in this space, you know kind of what you're about, like you know how to like maneuver
to navigate.
Yeah.
I didn't have to. I wasn't wearing a mask all day.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, did you have to, you know, be different versions of yourself?
I got to be me, like my most me, and it felt like I didn't realize how good that felt. And like I told myself I was going out. I was like, I'm just gonna go out for a couple hours. No, I had such a good time meeting fucking dope ass Black folk and like just.
You were able to have the energy to like put everything into that versus having to like go back and forth between different versions and like.
And code switch, y'all. Like, yo, it's a thing. It's a fucking
like,
real
manage
thing.
people's energies in a very different way than just a regular like one-on-one conversation with someone who you can. Yeah, I mean. It
was great, and again, like that level of representation, like how that matters in the fucking real world, because how we see it mirrored on film and television reflects back into and I sometimes wish this wasn't the case, but it is, because that's a big aspect of how we learn, but it's then how we carry ourselves into the world and into our space. And so like fucking like shows like Abbott Elementary and
I love that show so, like, yes, that is just exactly what you want to see when you look at a school and you're like, oh, the staff looks like the students, and also like they care so much about all of their students. It's like its own little family, and that's what school is. Like, that's what it should be. And to be able to see yourself in your classroom on TV, like, not just like, oh, well, that's like a different school, but like, yeah.
And the actual problems that they have as like public school teachers, like so many things that are happening right now in film and television are like, it's beautiful. It's also like we're in this period of change and exploring and understanding and like hopefully just pouring more into that and pushing it forward, and just realizing the trickle effect that it has and how important it is, and still getting those gatekeepers to see that, because it's almost like a different language. I realize the way in which I talk about these things in the Black community, like with other people that are like me, is different to how I talk about them with, and I want to shorten that gap. Like when I talk to beige people, sometimes like I actually have a really fucking hard time articulating like why this matters, or like why this story, or what, like I know, like when I talk to you about it, or I fucking talk to Shahada about these things, like it's easier because there's already that point of understanding. But getting someone else to understand, like
getting someone to see something that
they don't see as a
glaringly
problem.
obvious,
Yes.
but like to them is normal, is hard. I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of things I think that I'm like, as an adult, recognizing and understanding layers of like, oh yeah, like it still is different for me because of this, like because of my fucking skin tone. Like, yes, it's always going to be like different, but it's yeah, it is hard for some people, and it's like when you are the one that's not grasping it yet, and you're like, okay, well, it sounds like clearly there's a problem here, and I'm not like I don't see this yet. I mean, I don't know how.
It's something that I have been talking about in therapy, like my authority issues, or my capability of talking to the beige male figures.
It can be difficult though, because it's like, going back to, I feel like this is like a much longer episode. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yes, what time is it?
It's 50. We have like
okay, perfect. Yes,
but,
okay.
Like if you were in a room, instead of all beige men, if you were in a room of like mixed, like black, like everyone, you still would have been very capable of getting that scene done. But I think you also possibly, I'm projecting, maybe would have felt more comfortable also like being able to be like, hey, like can we do a couple warm-ups, but to get that thing, like I want to do this fucking right by us, like
I was afraid to ask. Yeah. I was afraid to ask for anything.
And that's exactly, if you saw people in the room that you knew were like on your team, you could have been like, hey, yeah, like it's too cold in my room, or like, these braids fucking suck. Like, you could have felt more like everyone is here to uplift, and like I mean, not that you didn't feel like everyone was there for the scene, but like just a little more comfortable to be like, hey, hang on, like do I have a wedgie in this, like things that are just a little bit more like, I need a little bit of interaction to like warm me up to do this thing, or like, hey guys, like I need to cry, everybody hit me with your worst,
like just to have that before, and also adding that layer of like, yo, this was my first. And so I'm like, oh, okay. But no, you're absolutely right. Like having that one point, or like a couple points of like connection in terms of seeing someone else, like that, I didn't realize the way in which it can affect someone. And why it matters even like behind the camera, so that like you can feel like, oh, I do belong here. Not that you don't, but like it makes a fucking difference when like even behind the camera it is
just
like
walking
that.
into a room that you're gonna be. The most basic level that I look for is like, if there is someone who is feminine presenting in that room, that is an immediate exhale for me to be a little bit more comfortable, and to feel like I do have one ally in this room. And just like I breathe a little bit like, okay, deeper. I'm like, okay, when they ask for coffee, I don't drink coffee, and I oftentimes am like, no, I won't ask for tea, I'll just sit here not drinking something. And so if I see a woman, I'm like, actually, Yes. Is
I
there
like
tea? Like I'm able to then get a voice for myself. Like I feel like this is a safe space for me to be able to start talking, to go, or if I do see a man of color, honestly, in a room,
Interesting.
I then am like, okay, we're at least here. Like
Yes.
we're in a space that he's allowed to be here too. Okay, so him and I, like, okay,
Same but different.
honestly, like that. So, like, in a space that I'm gonna be really uncomfortable, like, yeah, the more people that I see that I feel are safe, the more I'm gonna be like, hey, actually, like, I do need this, or like, can we do this like differently, or like, I feel more allowed to speak.
I was about to say you feel your voice more.
Yeah.
That's
So I
fascinating
can
to
only
me.
imagine then being a completely different skin tone and like having to then like layer up from there to like, and still those be like 50-50 if it's gonna work in your favor, or you're gonna be like, fuck, why did I do that?
Right? I'm like,
you know, because yeah, just because it's a woman in there doesn't mean she's gonna be your ally either.
that,
you know,
hello.
so
It
like,
does not.
but
yeah.
to tie in to this representation matters conversation, not only in the entertainment industry, because I think that is a lot of our window into like what we're capable of doing, or what careers even are possible for us, but seeing professional things in the media that are like real life. I don't remember her name and when, but recently, like the first Mexican woman went into space.
Dope.
Okay, like for Mexico, just in general, like that was fucking, you know, like
That's
this is a thing, like this is a thing,
2022.
and like people were like obviously super jazzed, and I mean, there's layers of like when women first started going into space, you know, like that's, you know, a thing in its own, but like just the amount of then people, like young people, that this is gonna be like, oh, like she, okay,
Then I can too.
you know,
it's
like,
possible.
that's a huge thing, and like shows people everywhere, like not only like adults, like who can also be like, you know what, I always wanted to go to space and I can't, but my person, like someone of me did that, you know. I mean, just like as an adult Little Mermaid, I saw a TikTok video of like someone's dad, like a 50-60 plus year old man who that was his favorite movie, and they showed him he was a black man, and like the sheer joy that this like grandpa probably felt watching this, you know. It's like at any age, seeing yourself represented in something that wasn't before is like, it's just so fucking powerful. It's so fucking powerful. As a Latina, like seeing like others in political power is really like, it's just amazing for me. So I'm like, okay, somewhere someone is caring about laws that affect my family.
Yes.
That affect how future generations of my family can come here and like exist, and you know, even people that we're not related to, just like that are fucking brown, can come here and not have to go through the torturous like cages and, you know, everything that has like, I'm not saying they're gonna fix things completely, but you know, it's like there's hope. There's more hope.
Yes, it's a step in the right direction. When you see yourself, you believe a little bit more in yourself, but then also in others, and you're like, okay, all right,
okay, it's still shooting, but
we're making progress, ladies and gentlemen.
There's another foot in the door.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay, we have to transition into.
Our push replay.
Yes, we got a push replay.
So this push replay comes to us from our dear friend Matthew Perkins.
I knew it. I love it. Yes, Matthew. Cheers, baby.
Okay, on our last video, all I remember is being a sweaty mess for that video. But our last video, I love the internet. Okay, so the comment, agree, the internet is full of dumbness, especially these random dudes with a microphone. Yes. Also, it's hard for a man to ask for help because that is an admission that he is a failure. And we all know the black man believes he is the best at everything. Okay, so I think just touching on admitting failure, like, it's so fucking hard to do that. And I saw another TikTok that kind of agreed with his statement, that just men in general, like, have a hard time admitting they're wrong. They're like asking for help. And I mean, like,
it makes them seem less of a man.
But like, I'm like, it's so interesting that like, I think we as just people in work, like, are always like, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be learning from other people.
Uh-huh.
You know, I want to be a sponge in that like environment in your work. So if you're like that with your work, you should try to, I guess, we should all try to do that elsewhere.
Right.
And that's like, it seems obvious, obviously, but like that's really hard because I'm trying to do this myself where I step back and I'm like, okay, in this aspect or in this area, I think I know a lot of things, but like I need to allow room for other people to teach me because I'm an asshole here. You know, like, but it's just like, I mean, I feel like, is that human nature or is that like a societal thing to be so afraid to admit that we're wrong? You know, like,
oh, I used to be like, but lately I've gotten into a space, and I think this does come with age and life experience. I've gotten to a point like I'm quick to be like, yo, I fucked up. Like I messed this up. But it also depends on what it is and like who I'm talking to.
oh yeah.
Like for certain things it's easy, like I mean I get there's that little bit of uncomfortableness before, like even today before we started I was like, yo bitch, I thought I told you we were doing 11, my bad. Like it takes me a little bit to say it out of my mouth, but I know I need to do it.
I mean, it is kind of hard to tell someone, I guess, like anything negative,
Right.
But I think delivery also can help. I mean, just like you're literally saying, delivery can help, like,
Yes.
what's happening. But I think on receiving that also sometimes, like, you just need to reframe, like, because like, if we don't allow someone else grace, like, how are we to expect them to allow us grace?
And
the more grace you allow, the easier it is to just be like, hey, yeah, I fucked up, and be like, okay, well, I mean, there's literally, what can we do? Sometimes it's like there's no solve, so why dwell and be upset on, you know, the opposite end for whoever has to deliver the news? I mean, like sometimes it's like life and death, and I get that, but when it's not life and death, you know,
right?
it's
like
I mean,
there's also a level of like forgiveness in that too, in terms of like if you don't give that grace to others, how do you expect to do that for yourself? In terms of like like that feeling of constantly having to be like thinking you have to be perfect and you have to be on and you have to get it right all the time. It's fucking exhausting.
it's hard.
The moment I realize that I am allowed to mess up, like I am allowed to like get it wrong, like, and knowing that that is okay, and like being surrounded with people who are also of that, like be like, oh, like I get it, it's okay. Okay, well, we can learn and grow from it. Like, this is what we won't do again. This is what we're gonna do next time. This, that, and the third. And so, like, and I think a big part of that, like, that's where some like toxic behavior and toxic relationships can grow and stem from. Like, if like you're constantly sitting in that need to be like, this is how it should be. It needs to be needs to be perfect, and there's no room for grace or error. And it's like, no, you ain't, just like we were talking about with in terms of creating things that are just okay and mediocre, like no, like that applies on so many levels of like, yo, you're not gonna get it right all of the time. Shit, it's okay. We're not perfect. I mean, some of us are damn near close. I'm kidding. But yes, I think it's gotten easier to once I worked on my relationship with self and like started to love me harder, and like it's certain things I'm like, oh, like admitting becomes easier every time you do. Like, yo, I don't know what I'm doing, or I fucked up, I needed help.
I mean,
I'm
it's like
sorry.
something you can say in passing, like, do you know the answer? Nope. Okay,
I'll
that's it.
figure it out.
Like,
or,
hey, did this get done? Nope. Okay. I mean, that's it. Like,
right?
You're aware of it? Yep. Okay, that's it.
And sometimes, a lot of the times we do it to ourselves. Like we
That
build it
part.
up in our head and making it worse than it actually is, and then it blows out of fucking proportion for no goddamn reason. Anywho, that's a
How dare
whole
you
other.
call that?
We do it to ourselves. But anyway. anyway, y'all, thank you for hanging in here with us for this live. You know, representation really matters to the both of us, like, and is a big part of what we do here at Batons. And
So stay tuned for parts 424 or whatever and
Yep.
beyond, whatever was next.
yes, so don't forget to do all of the things.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow, download, share, rate, review.
All of that. And we will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I hope. Oh, wait, no, I have to push the button first. And.
Oh, my leg pose.
Oh, wait.